You're listening to the Crew Book Club podcast, the show that challenges you to change your mindset through hearing about dope books. Thanks for hanging with the crew to get advice, ask questions, and gain knowledge with me, your host, Sade Hill. What up, crew? What's good? Welcome to another episode of the Crew Book Club podcast. It's your girl, Sade, ready for another episode. I'm going to be honest. I don't think I'm ready. I'm just thinking, girl, you're not motivated, but you got to get it done. And that's just me being honest. Like, I always want to be honest with y'all. Like, I never want to. Yes, when you get on a pod or when you're working, and you know, I don't care what job you're working, there's a moment where you got to put on, right? And I treat everything that I do, even if it's my own, the same way. Because we do it for, when we work for people, we need to do it for ourselves. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like, today is Sunday and I'm recording. I've been off schedule because I haven't been feeling like doing it, right? Because I've been having so much fun. I went to Vegas last week with my husband. We saw Usher, literally 18 hours. Flew, saw Usher, got back on a plane the next day to come back so he can go to work. The week before that, I was at Wild Adventures with my kids. It's been a really great summer family-wise. And this podcast has been the last thing on my mind. And I've been literally doing it on Sunday or Monday morning. But I know I made the commitment that I'm dropping on Monday, and I'm going to stick to that. It's just, and I've been doing some other great things. Real estate has been good to me last month. It's low this month, but yeah, I'm tired. Like, I am exhausted. Right now, I'm not wearing any makeup. I'm on my period. My acne is acting up. I'm just, like, I feel, but I'm excited to do this, but I'm just being honest. I'm just keeping it 100. And I feel like more people need to be honest about how they really be feeling, because you turn this camera on and this work can drain you, especially being an entrepreneur full time in real estate. Like, and boy, people been trying me in real estate. But anywho, I just leave that to God. But I just want to keep it real with y'all. I hope you guys are doing good. And I'm not saying that I'm not doing good. I am very thankful for the life that I have. I'm not complaining. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Like, a bit is tired. Okay? Whew. But I'm going to get through this. And the episode still is going to be good. I'm just letting you know what the real is, because I never want to be one of them people that's like, I'm perfect. Because, baby, I'm far from perfect. And I just want to be relatable and honest. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, today we do start a new book. It's Believe Bigger by Marshawn Evans Daniels. And I've done the journal before in 2022 last year, from like January. It's 100 days of Believing Bigger. It has a scripture, a passage, a question, and a prayer. And we're going to get into that. And we're going to do the introduction in chapter 1 today. So I'm excited about that. Okay. Now, sorry, my husband just called me and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm recording and I cannot pick up, babe. I'm so sorry. I love you. Because usually I text him and I say, hey, I'm about to record a podcast, so he won't interrupt. But he'll be all right. I'm going to be quick. Good and quick. All right, so let's get into who gonna check me boo God is. And these who gonna check me boos, because I've done the journal before, I'm gonna try to pull from the journal so you guys can kind of have a little bit of both books, and you can decide whether you want to order. I highly recommend ordering the journal. You can literally do the journal without reading the book, but reading the book adds context to the journal. And I'm excited to get into it. So the first day 1, okay, on Believing Bigger Devotional Journal, Trust Made Simple is the title. And the scripture is John chapter 13, verse 7. And it says, Jesus replied, you do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand. And the passage key notes to me were God is more concerned with our trust than our talent. That hit me today because in this moment, I didn't feel like getting on here. But it wasn't about my talent. It was about me trusting him that he's going to get me through this episode because he knows the commitment and the will that he put in my life to do this. So he's going to give me just the right amount of energy to do it. So that alone. And then it goes into, and he's more interested in obedience than sacrifice. And right now I'm feeling both. I'm being obedient doing this, but I also feel like I'm sacrificing my Sunday because I do not like doing stuff like this on my Sunday while my kid is upstairs doing God knows what to her Barbie dolls in the bathroom. And then go turn around and ask me for more to chop their hair off. She wants to be a hairstylist. And I said, well, you're going to be a hairstylist, but you're going to own the hair salon. You're going to be like the Kim Kimball around this bit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to the book. And here I am setting high expectations, and I don't even know if that's God's will on her life. Let me digress. Because it says here, we set our expectations high, create our own schedule, and start racing towards the finish line. Then when our expectations aren't met, we feel frustrated because we haven't met our goals. Jesus. God, y'all just saw me get checked in a moment. Look at me making all this stuff, what I said about my daughter. And he just said, hold on, those are your expectations. I haven't gone to God and asked what my daughter should be doing. And who's to say? He just told me I just started listening to what he told me what I need to be doing just a few years ago. But anywho, she said she put God wants your trust. And she broke it down as total reliance upon spiritual timing. And we all know that's not easy. Now, the prompt question was, how has trusting God's timing been a struggle for you? And what might God be trying to teach you in the process? Now, in 2022, last year when I did this, I was like, my struggle was trusting his timing and what he asked me to be obedient in. Because I'd be like, nah, God, do I really need to be obedient in that? And he was like, yes. And now I feel like I'm at this point where it's like, okay, he see I'm being obedient. Now it's time to go to the next level. And I'm doing things like getting a coach and paying to speak to people because I understand the importance of, I've gotten to the level where I was in my cocoon and now I'm a butterfly. And he like, okay, now you got to go out into the world and meet the people and talk to the right people. So I'd be like, okay, God, who do you want me to converse with? Who do you want me to listen to get to this next level? All right. So I'm asking you what she said. How has trusting God's timing been a struggle for you? Because one, you're going to recognize what it is, right, within yourself. And then you're going to focus on what might God be trying to teach you in the process. Because we can get caught up in the loop feeling like I'm going through the same thing all the time. It's because you haven't learned what you need to learn to go on to the next process. All right. So then she ended it with a prayer. And it says, Lord, thank you for being more concerned with my being than with my doing. Okay. Equip me with unshakable level of trust in you in your timing. You are perfect in every way. Asking God for the tools you need to be unshakable, because it will allow you to be unshakable in the moments where it used to shake you. When he equips you the right way, you could go into battle and you like, ooh, I'm handling myself quite well on this situation. It's because you've asked God to equip you and you don't pass that test. You get what I'm saying? Think about David. He had to fight lions, tigers, and bears before he fought Goliath. David was probably like, all right, God, I got to fight a bear. I just fought a tiger. You get what I'm saying? So respect the process. Let God equip you so you can do things on his timing and you'll be ready. All right. So that was Who Gon Check Me Boo. And that came from Believing Bigger Devotional Journal, Trust Made Simple, John chapter 13, verse 7. Okay. Now I appreciate loving the crew. Please leave a written review, give 5 stars, share the episode, follow the Crew Book Club on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, subscribe. And also you can visit our website, thecrewbookclub.com. We have shirts. We have some fly bookmarks, the Crew Book Club. And also, if you go to the website and type in the promo code Crew Love, you will get a special discount. Okay, so check that out. Thank you for all the shares. I really appreciate and see the love. Thank you. Now, listen. Woo, Marshawn Evans on Believe Bigger. Ooh, y'all, chapter 1. Oh, we're going to get into it. But first, we're going to do the introduction. Confessions. Speaking of confessions, that darn Usher killed it in Vegas. We had such a blast. So that just made me think of that. These are my confessions. Okay, back to the book. God wants you to know your purpose. That is the confession. Off rip. Like, God is not hiding your purpose from you. He waiting for you to discover it. All right. She says here it says X. It's literally the second page of the introduction. And it says, God is a God of impeccable order, intention, and structure. Nothing that has occurred in your life is coincidence. Everything you've encountered, even the things that seem awful, has been part of your journey. And I know some people struggle with that because they're like, well, if God gave me the decision to make to do these things, baby, that's choice. There's a path you get to choose, and but He always will direct you back to the correct path. It just has to be in order, intention, and with structure. So you cannot not avoid the order, intention, and structure when it comes to doing God's will. And understand, on page XI of the introduction, it says, entering your purpose will first require an exit. Okay, so to unleash the greater in you, God will disrupt you and dismantle you. Woo! You like... And you ever hear why people be like, well, why would how He God and He doing this to me? Because He needs you to exit what you're doing to get to the next level, to get to the next part of the process, to get to your purpose. So you got to exit first. That's the first thing, baby. All right. And that's just the introduction. And let me tell you, there were some other things, but those are the main understanding of the introduction before we got into part 1 of the book. She titled it Awaken. Disruption is the invitation. You don't want disruption, but you need disruption to get the invite to go to the next level, because you need to be awakened and you need to be dismantled. And in chapter 1, ooh, child, let me tell you what she went through. Whoa, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, continue to listen to me. Chapter 1, countdown to the chaos. Y'all ever, when I read that, I was just like, oh my gosh, you ever think back before something blows up and you realize like the little things in the in-between before the blow up? Okay, check this out. On chapter 1, page 3, it says, I was a good girl, fully committed to never embarrassing God or my family. I tried to do everything right. No drinking, no drugs, no wild partying. Ooh, child. No sex. I got good grades, won lots of awards and leadership roles and scholarships. God bless you, because, child, thank God for God. Thank God for Jesus. But the truth is, I wanted a man to woo me. I was living in what often felt like a permanent state of, it's not your time yet, but keep waiting. He will eventually going to come and sweep you off your feet one day. Just not today, rejection. Oh my goodness. This reminds me, I wasn't like a goody two-shoe girl, but I also wasn't the thickest. I was super like skinny, skinny. I was cute in the face, but I ain't have no body, child. No titties, no butt, no nothing. So I was always extra nice. And I don't know whether it was guys being nice, being like, and I could flirt. I'll flirt with you, but I wouldn't go beyond. So I would always give, I can't date you because you wifey material. And I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to play you. I want to play you. And I'm like, well, dang. I would get offended. I didn't know whether it was because maybe I wasn't they type, or maybe they really was like, dang, you gonna make me want to cuff you. I don't know. But in high school, your mind just kind of goes all kind of ways. But anyway, she goes on and say, but instead of wallowing and allowing anyone to see how much this hurt, I played dress up. I covered my insecurity and loneliness with achievement, with, of course, we celebrated and rewarded. I'll tell you more about my spiral into success addiction later, to say I was good at it all. But then I finally met someone. And she met someone who had kids. So listen, I love being a bonus mom on page 5. I love being in love. I loved it so much that after we got engaged, I decided to give up the life I've created. Her dream business, to be a mom and wife. And it wasn't even a hard decision. Reading this book helped me come out of this, a little backstory about myself. I have 2 daughters. One lives in Atlanta and with her dad, who I was engaged to in college. And then I ended up marrying my current husband after that relationship was dismantled. God had to do it. Thank God he did. And I met my husband, and we had Audrey 3 years after we were married, because I felt like I didn't have that mom thing going on. And then I got pregnant a few years ago, but I was totally out of my mind, was not ready, and I ended up having an abortion. And it didn't taunt me, but it was mental. My mind wasn't in the right space. My heart wasn't even in my marriage at the time. And I think that had a lot to do with it. And then we tried to have a baby last year, and I had a miscarriage. And at first I was like, is this punishment that I had the abortion? But God doesn't work that way. And so I felt like it was all God's timing. And the timing just wasn't right. And we went through it after our miscarriage. We almost divorced again. Jesus, I'll write in a book and tell y'all about it one day. But then I put this wall around being a mom and the responsibility that came with being a mom. But then reading this, I was just like, oh my goodness, like, to give up everything and to make that sacrifice, it's scary, but it's also going to be one of the best things. And it's just like, I'm kind of ready to have a baby. I don't want to short myself. I don't want to be 80 wishing I would have had because of a business or trying to achieve something, right? I feel like if it's meant to be and God bless us with a baby, he gonna make all this other stuff still happen. You know what I'm saying? Because like we talked about in the Who Gon Check Me Boo, like, he's more interested in my obedience than my sacrifice. And if I need to be obedient to have children, I just need to do that and stop denying that from myself. So shout out to Marshawn, because to see her where she's at with triplets and her husband and the success that she still has, it's a beautiful thing. It is possible. And she talks about how, she was sick and tired of people, on page 5, she was sick and tired of people asking her for years if she wanted children and ever wanted to get married. It was like people thought a driven, successful woman wouldn't possibly always want to change diapers and have a wedding. They seem to be saying there's no way God would have designed someone like me for both. Y'all, it is possible. You just have to trust God, okay? And that's where I'm at. And she says, so when they got engaged, she began the process of closing down her uber successful businesses. And she closed her physical office. She even ended endorsements with Gatorade, Tiffany & Co., Nike, Rolls-Royce. She gave up producing this thing called the Caring Edge Awards. And, she even closed on inking a national television deal. Y'all, she shut all that down to be with this man. And y'all won't even stop buy designer bags for your man to help y'all buy a house. I had to scratch my head on that. But anywho, I digress. Now let's go into, after she did all of that, y'all. I think, what did she say? The Monday morning, the 6 days before her wedding, y'all, she gets an email. She says, I opened the email. It was paragraphs long. really long. My eyes were moving, reading each word line by line, but my mind didn't comprehend. I'll give you a general idea of the email and paraphrase it to spare you and me godless details. This person emailed her and said, I am sorry to tell you that your fiance is doing to you the very thing he did to me. I know because I've been sleeping with him throughout your relationship as recently as this month and in your new house, the one you haven't even moved in yet. Child. What y'all would have did? Heart. What your heart beating for? I'd be scared. She'll be scared. Anyway, the fiance denies. And he says, oh my God, I knew she was going to do something like this, sweetie. Don't believe her. I have to go now. Turn off phone. My flight is taking off. Now, she just found this out and you about to hang up because he taking a flight. I said, boy, God's timing. And I felt like when I'm looking at this back, it was meant for that to happen so she can process, right? She says, but then my spirit got unusually quiet and calm. It said nothing and I felt nothing. It was still. She said further down, I decided to call her the ex while I drove to the airport. So he flying, child, on the plane. She driving to him on the phone with the ex. Jesus. On page 10, she says, I listened, and she just talked about how horrible their relationship had been, about he said, she said saga, and I had been going on since they were in junior high, and about how much she loved him, but could no longer stay with him because he was a cheater. Nah, I don't know how long I could have stayed on the phone with that. But anywho, she says this was her payback. Not to me, but to him. Now, Marshawn, boy, you know that's God. And that takes a level of maturity, spiritual maturity. You know, you praying for God. Ooh, I don't understand why I'm being so calm, but help me. And she says, I was caught in a crossfire, a casualty in war. I didn't realize I had been going on for more than half my life. Now, a lot of us would have been coming at her, oh, you hating big because I got your husband, da-da-da-da-da. I married him, he da-da-da. And you probably would have kept going. But this is why being close to God is so important. Because he can help you navigate situations the correct way. What we said in the journal, what it say? Equip me with unshakable level of trust in you and your timing. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. So then she goes to say, there was no apology, no remorse, only satisfaction. So gracefully, I stopped and I said, okay, thank you for letting me know. Click. But in the moment, peace replaced panic. Oh, thank you, Jesus. That will make you want to get into the word. Going through something like that. I don't know if you're going through something like that, but if you ever been through something like that, like to let peace replace panic, that is literally what happens when you are connected in God. Yeah, you might freak for a second, but once you're in that relationship, you get into that word and you have built on that faith, that is what can happen. Okay? So continue on page 11. She says, I believe we have natural eyes, then we have spiritual eyes that enables us to discern what others cannot see, but exactly what God is trying to show. There was only fear, its cousin's nervousness, and without doubt, there was shame. He didn't have to say a thing. I knew. So once she saw this man coming through the airport and has processed all of that before even seeing him, God gave her spiritual eyes when she was ready to see through them, and she could see it all over that man because she asked for God to equip her. All right. So turning to page 12, she says, there was no tears on my part. Not at this point. I was resolute and didn't even think twice, not for a single moment, about us moving forward. As my Prince Charming walked away, I remember asking God, why hadn't I seen or discerned this essence before? Why now? Over time, I realized that I hadn't been ready until now. Whoa. What is being held back from you because you're not ready? She said on page 13, she said, we cannot see what we're not ready to believe. My God. And some of us, a lot of us, I've been there, you've been there too, can clearly see where we should not be, but will stay because we don't want to believe something. And I feel like there's a thing where God protects us to a point, but when the time comes where he needs to intercede, he does. And clearly he did, because Marshawn would have probably more than likely kept going and married him anyway with all that doubt probably she already had in her mind. Because there's always signs, y'all. We just don't be paying attention. We want to deny. So thank God that he can intercede just like that. So for the second time, I'm going to end that on that. Oh, wait, I'll end it on this to give you guys some type of closure to say. On page 18, she says, God uses disruption as a catalyst to get our attention and prepare us for our next season, even if the process is ugly. So sometimes in those seasons where you feel like this is so ugly, this is so hurtful, just know you're going through that to be prepared for your next season. Okay? Girl, even the world has seasons. We have what? Spring, summer, fall, and winter, and the plants grow fruit, die again, and all circle around. So what you're going through is just this season, and you just need to understand what God is equipping you with to build your character to get to your next season. Okay, so that was the introduction and just the beginning of chapter 1. So as we go on, she's going to get into processes. Next week we're going to be discussing split rock moments in chapter 2, decision unmaking, what she went through. We'll continue on how she processed out of that relationship. So come back and check out that and order the book too, y'all. Like, I would really love to do this with you guys and engage with you guys on our social media. All right. So I don't know what you're going through if you've been through something like that, but something like that will send me right into therapy. I've never been in I've been cheated on by actually my fiance, my ex. Like, he cheated on me like 3 times, and it was the most devastating thing. But all I thought I needed was God. But I wish I would have went through therapy, because I think I would have better understood, and therapy for us as a family, to process those emotions and feelings and not react in some of the ways that I did. But thank God therapy is more welcoming now, and it's also more affordable because we have our partnership with BetterHelp, and it's convenient, y'all. We can literally go on our phones, and they have scholarships and everything that you can apply for as well. So be honest about your finances. They can help you. I've told you plenty of times they've helped me. But when we go through something so traumatic, God blessed us with therapists. There are doctors who can handle our mental, and there's therapists who are Christian, who has a Christian base. And even on BetterHelp, when you fill out the questionnaire of what you're looking for, you can ask for a Christian-based therapist. So I do that every time. And I've also interviewed with several. The one that I used to go to a lot, she's not on there anymore. Oh, excuse me. So I have to find another one. But if you go to betterhelp.com/crewlove, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy. Just try it. You can't go wrong. We spend more money on a bag and a pair of shoes, so why not invest in your therapy? All right. So betterhelp.com/crewlove. The link will be in the show notes. All right. Now, the challenge of the week comes from page 25. And that was coming out of chapter 1. Oh no, I had skipped ahead and I had did chapter 2. Oh my goodness. Y'all, this is what happens when you tired, boss. I literally did the outline today. So I'm going to say this. Woo, woo, woo. I want you to reflect. On page 19 in chapter 1, it says, it has these 3 questions. And it's about disappointment is God's tired and true catalyst for greater calling. Every woman will have her heart broken and her virgin hope defiled. I am not alone. You're not alone, and no woman is exempt. But ask yourself these questions, y'all. Pen and paper, you got it? Or check your time clock and screenshot whatever you need to do so you can remember to do this homework. What if the hurt disappointment, wounding, and betrayal are actually a shaking and an awakening. I want you to think of what situation that you're going through that has caused these emotions, and I want you to write it down. Then she says, what if all you've been through hadn't happened to you, but happened for you? I want you to process and look at it a different way. The third question she prompts, what if the drama has something to do with the very thing God sent you here to do? Because when she went through this, God strategically told her, you're going to help women. And like she said, none of us are exempt. So for her to be where she's at with her triplets, her husband, and a successful business, baby, we can get there too. Okay? God is just using her as an example to help lead and grow us as women. And I appreciate that because she's a woman who believes in God, which is everything that I stand for. She has family. She has success. She's a successful entrepreneur. So this is all possible. And I love how she breaks it down in the rest of the book. So your challenge of the week this week is to figure out what your disruption to your purpose is. Okay? All right. Now, I love some good advice. This advice came in a few weeks after I had posted asking you guys to send me some advice. And this person said, how do you stay strong in a season when you feel like everything is falling apart? And the first thing that came to my mind when I read this question was, what is it to be strong? You know, strong to me is letting go. I feel like society has put this thing as strong as putting the weight on our shoulders. How do we bear through it? How do we fight through it? I'm like, I want to let that go, and I want to give it to God because that's who I trust to handle it, because He's going to equip me with the things that I need to do to get through whatever I feel like I need to be strong. Because it ain't me I need to be strong in God, and He can handle the rest. And if I feel like everything is falling apart, bang, 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 what the book say? This is the disruption. The falling apart needs to happen. I think a lot of us be walking around trying to juggle all the problems and staying strong and holding all the weight on our shoulder when we should be letting it go, because letting it go could be the thing that towers everything down, so then God can rebuild it on His back and we don't have to be the strong one. I don't check on your strong friends, yes, but let your strong friends know there's somebody stronger who can handle and hold the battle, who can fight the battle. Okay? So who can equip you to get through the battle? You feel what I'm saying? I mean, I'm going back to the story of David because I can see David putting all this weight and armor on, and he was like, I can't fight in this. God equipped this man with rocks and a slingshot. Okay? So imagine what He can equip you with if you let it go. Let it fall. Let it fall, because that could be the thing that's going to catapult you into the next level. All right? So reset your mindset of what strong look like. Strong is letting it go. Okay? Strong don't have to be strong enough for everybody. Oh, I felt like I was talking to that. Oh gosh, that came from my soul. All right. So thank you for tuning in. You know, I'm not going to leave y'all without a quote of the week. The quote of the week came from the second page of the introduction, page quote unquote X. It says, to fulfill your true life mission, you will have to unlearn who you have been and muster the courage to discover who you really are, what you possess, and how God designed you. For that strong friend, let it go. Let God use and process you and design you to fit His will and His glory. All right. Thanks for hanging with the Crew Book Club podcast. I will see y'all right here next week with the crew. Hey. Want to be a part of the crew? Hit that follow button so you'll never miss an episode. And while you're at it, I would appreciate you showing crew love by rating the show on iTunes and Spotify. Don't keep all this goodness to yourself. Share and tell a friend so your whole crew can be growing with you. Let me be the first to tell you, welcome to the crew.